Thank you to Trade Coffee for sponsoring this video. Today on The Way of Ramen, we'll be making a vegan version of the Naruto Tonkotsu Miso Ramen. I actually had something totally different planned, but I tried this for fun and I actually liked it way better. It's like a nice warm hug, like a vegan hug. So like I said, a couple of weeks ago I did a video on my twist, my take on Naruto's Ichiraku Ramen. I made the noodles and tare in that video and I had some leftovers, so I just decided to use them and try to make something. Vegan ramen is pretty interesting and I actually really enjoy eating it and making it. The way that I thought about vegan ramen changed significantly when I met Chris Gantan, a vegan ramen cook from the Bay Area.
I think when non-vegan chefs, like when they're making their vegan ramen, I think they're thinking of like subtraction, like I'm losing the bones. How can I survive this? I think like it's good to turn around and try to view it positively. Like I have to do without this. What new thing can I add to make this like original and to make this like something that people want to try?
I think that's like a huge difference between like non-vegans trying to make vegan ramen and a true vegan making vegan ramen. It's like you're going for opposite directions. You know, one is going backwards and you're trying to go forward.
Yeah, I feel positively like you're on Chopped or something or some kind of food network. Like you're given your basket. It's all vegetables. You didn't get any bones, and they said make ramen, and you're like, cool, man. Like I gotta like be creative and blend and like fry and saute different things to try and make something that like is like, you know, a good replacement.
Before we get into making ramen, I just wanted to take a minute to tell you about the sponsor for today's video, Trade Coffee. To be honest, I usually don't drink a lot of coffee, mainly for two reasons. One, I don't know how to make it, and two, I don't really know what good coffee is, and that's why I think Trade is pretty cool. Trade helps you discover new coffees from the nation's top roasters and conveniently delivers it right to your door. Here's how it works. You take a short quiz on their website that will tell Trade what kind of coffees you like, and they'll curate matches just for you. If you're like me, you can just let them choose for you. That's what I did. Drink your coffee and rate your matches so Trade can know whether to keep sending you the same thing or send you something else that you'll love even more. And that's it. It's perfect for people like me who don't even know how to make their own coffee, let alone choose some good coffee. Right now, Trade is offering a pretty great deal to Way of Ramen viewers. The first 100 viewers to click the link below will get 30% off their first bag of coffee when they sign up. Free shipping included, of course. Alright, back to the show. So one of the advantages of vegan ramen is the soup itself is actually pretty quick to make, so you can spend more time on the toppings. I'm gonna roast some tomatoes here. I'm just hitting it with some neutral vegetable oil and then sprinkling on some kosher salt. Tomatoes are packed with glutamate, and when you roast them, it concentrates the umami even more. I'm just gonna roast these in the oven at 375 degrees for about an hour and a half, and they should be done. Next, I'm gonna prep the veggies for the veggie stock. I got about a third of a carrot slice, a half a potato chunked, about a quarter of a small cabbage, a quarter of an onion, and one garlic clove, which I didn't film me peeling for some reason. This is 15 grams of konbu and 2 shiitake mushrooms soaking in about a liter of water overnight. I'm gonna add all of my vegetables in and then bring this up to a simmer. This was a mistake in the sense that the vegetables kind of buried the konbu and made it harder to remove without breaking them. So in the future, I'm gonna just be making the dashi stock first and then adding the vegetables later. Anyways, I pulled out the konbu and decided to leave the shiitake in there for now. My thought process was that if I left the shiitake in there, it might bump up the perceived umami even more. But anyways, I covered this and kept it at 180 degrees Fahrenheit for about an hour and a half. I had originally planned to let this go for 2 hours, but then I tasted it here and it was a little bit too sweet, so I decided to just pull it there. Probably could have left out the carrots, but it's okay because I'm going to be cutting this with oat milk and a tare, so it won't be too bad at the end. Anyways, I strained out the vegetables and kept the stock warm while I finished up the rest of the toppings. After an hour and a half, the tomatoes were nicely roasted. They're still a little bit wet, so maybe I could have gone a little longer at a lower heat, but I thought these were just fine. I also made some vegan tofu chashu based off Chris's recipe. It's pretty crazy how close Chris got, even though he's never actually had real chashu. I'm gonna put this out as its own video because it'll be easier to find, so stay tuned for that. So to put the final soup together, it's pretty simple. 1 part veggie dashi stock to 1 part oat milk. Again, the Oatly brand is what I'd recommend here. And then just heat this up to about 190 degrees Fahrenheit and your soup is done. To serve, add 1 tablespoon of miso tare into a heated bowl. And like a bonehead that I am, I added 400 ml of soup instead of 300 ml that I was planning. Use 300 ml, and then just whisk in your tare into your soup. Did I mention you're supposed to be cooking your noodles while you're whisking? Well, anyways, your noodles should be cooking while you're whisking, and then when they're done, strain them really well, and then add them into your soup. I topped with the vegan tofu chashu, some green onions from my backyard. There seems to be like a green onion shortage on my island or something right now. And the roasted tomato. And that is a vegan version of a Noukou or thick miso ramen. So I should probably explain how this happened. It wasn't really my plan to do this for the video. I had actually planned to attempt a vegan version of a tonkotsu gyokai tsukemen, but I couldn't figure out how to get the soup thick enough. I thought maybe I could thicken it if I added some miso tare because miso kind of thickens it. So I used some from the Naruto video and I just liked this better than the original plan, so I just made this instead. To be honest, I'd rather eat this version, the vegan version, than the miso ramen in the Naruto video. The tonkotsu was just a little bit too thick, and so if I could have got it to this thickness somehow, it would have been much more enjoyable. And like I said, I added too much soup for this. 300 mils for 15 grams of tare seems like the sweet spot for this tare, but you can always adjust to your taste. The roasted tomato and the vegan chashu were great, and the noodles and tare aged really well. The miso tare was actually much better now than when I used it in the last video when I used it. It's really interesting how some tares just age and get better over time, so you should try that out at home. Anyways, I will do that vegan tsukemen one day. Chris said he'll help me out with the R&D for that, and I'll have his vegan chashu recipe out on another video very soon. As always, you can follow me on Instagram at Way of Ramen, and you should actually go and follow Chris on Instagram too. He's at vegan.tanmen. You can also check out Chris's episode on my podcast. I'll leave a link to that in the description below. Thank you so much for watching, and thank you again to Trade Coffee for sponsoring this video. See you all in the next one. Peace.